I'm Rob.
And I'm Louie.
And this is the Eye of the Temple VR review
by Barefoot Gaming.
Room scale, Louie.
You can't live in a closet for this one.
You cannot. This has a minimum size requirement that you have to meet. And if you don't meet it, you can't play this game.
Yeah.
You are going to bump into walls. So know that right off the bat. This is not something you can play seated. This is not something that you can play in a 3x3 type space.
And we're going to put that space right up here.
Yeah.
Of course, Rob will put it down here because I'm pointing up here. That's how he does.
I would never. Now this I went into this with a feeling that it was going to be a little bit like Unseen Diplomacy, which is an older game that utilizes room scale that made me fall in love with room scale initially.
Yes.
Although that one was procedurally generated, like it's different every single time.
Yeah.
But it also was much rougher because it was one of the earlier VR games.
Yeah.
How do they fool you into moving back and forth in this game?
There are moving pedestals and rolling pedestals and even lifting ones. So if you're on a moving pedestal, you take a step forward or to the side, whichever direction you need to go, and you have to duck under objects sometimes, and they really want you to duck in these.
I'm going to talk about the rolling pedestals just a little bit more because I think this is actually a really neat way to fool you into thinking that you are moving a large amount of space.
Yep.
So what they'll do is they'll have like a rolling wheel underneath you, and you need to try to keep your feet on top of it, which means you either have to back up or step forward to stay on it.
Yeah.
Even though you feel like you're not really moving, it's making you back to where, like, usually the middle of the play space, where it can, change everything around again. So by moving you around on these platforms constantly, they are constantly resetting you in the room.
Yeah, into that one centered position that you're supposed to start in.
So the basic gameplay utilizes a whip and what else?
An unlit torch that, spoiler alert, later becomes lit.
I never would have expected it.
So with the torch, when you're going on all these pedestals, a row of crystals will show up, and you have to kind of swipe your torch along to collect all these crystals. Those crystals will then be made into bigger or possibly even complete crystals, which can be used to complete tasks.
Yeah, and you'll fill up these large circles that'll open up new pathways.
Yeah.
The whole aesthetic of this game is very Indiana Jones.
Yes.
There is no question that is, like, the fact that you're whipping targets, the fact that you're whipping different things.
Yeah, there will be levers, here and there, and you whip it, and,
Whip it good.
That's right. But also you have to hit it just right, and then you can pull the lever, and it will open up a new spot. Side note about the torch, if you miss any crystals, just take the time to go back and get it. Trust me, get all the crystals the first time around.
That's the concept of the game. You can tell by the video, by the trailer, by some of the gameplay of how this game actually works. Louis, let's talk about pros, talk about cons, and do you recommend this game? Go.
So one of my pros is that it does make you feel like you are moving through an absolutely massive area. I don't know that the graphics are totally great. They're kind of basic and simple, but the fact that it can trick you into thinking that you're in a massive space, I think that is pretty cool. I think one of my big downsides is when you first get into this game, you might fall over.
They actually warn you that because there's enough times that they're moving things underneath you, or you're having to pedal on top of like something round.
Yeah. So you think, oh, there's a pedestal there, and you time it a little bit wrong, and you reach out for it, and the game goes a little bit screwy, and your knees kind of buckle out from underneath you because it looks like you're about to fall, even though you've been on your floor this whole time.
For sure.
That's kind of my biggest downside. What about you, Rob?
I would say the graphics look all right. I like kind of what they're doing with it. I love the fact that they're utilizing a full room scale, and like you said, that it makes it feel like it's a bigger space than you're really in. That's awesome. That is kind of the ultimate goal of VR, right? To be able to like run through the fields and go through this massive arena.
Yeah.
So this kind of moves you in that direction. I found the engine wasn't completely smooth, and by saying that, what I'm saying is it made me actually feel a little bit queasy at times. And it's not because of drop frames. It's not because of anything except, I don't know if it's optimization. I don't know if it's just us. Maybe it was. But that was the only struggle. If you like games that look like a puzzle, that you can kind of play Indiana Jones for a while,
Yeah.
it's a good time.
Yeah.
It is. But you're not really going to have as much fun replaying it.
Yes. The first good puzzle takes a while to get there.
It does, yeah. So, do you recommend it?
I do recommend it. Make sure there's absolutely nothing around you when you first get in, because you could fall down.
For sure. And if you've got the space to do it, it's not big money, and it's something different. And I like having different kinds of VR experiences. So I do recommend it. I'm still hoping it'll get optimized maybe a little bit more. I don't even know what it is, but I mean, I've had a couple people try it out, and they're all like, I feel a little in my stomach, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that is the review of Eye of the Temple.
That's right.
VR.
That's what I was going to say.
You were just about to say that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. We always love hearing from you. If you have questions, leave them down below. But we will talk to you again really soon. See ya.
Bye.